very good afternoon. You're watching Lunchtime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Niku Pasha. Before we head into your stories in detail, let's start off with a look at your headlines for this afternoon.
First Sri Lankan Test captain Bandula Varnapura bids adieu. Teachers and principals to report to work from next Monday. What will happen to students on the 21st?
දරුවන්ට ආරක්ෂාවක් නැත්නම් අපිට බෑ වුණ පාසල් යවන්න.
CID to start recording statements from the software engineer at Epic Lanka who was arrested over the NMRA data scam. Sri Lanka prints 19 billion rupees despite lifting treasury's price controls.
Former Sri Lanka cricket captain Bandula Varnapura passed away while receiving treatment at a private hospital. Bandula Varnapura was born on the 1st of March 1953 in Jambukkana. He is an old boy of Nalanda College, Colombo. Bandula Varnapura captained the Nalanda College Colombo first 11 cricket team in 1971 and represented Sri Lanka in their inaugural ODI against West Indies in 1975. 7 years later, he led Sri Lanka in their very first test match, which was played against England in 1982. He also faced the first ball and scored the first test run for Sri Lanka. He featured in 12 ODIs and 4 test matches for Sri Lanka between 1975 to 1982. Varnapura, following his retirement, worked as an ICC match referee and an umpire and is also a certified cricketing coach. He has served in the capacity of coach for the Sri Lanka national cricket team before he was appointed as the director of coaching in 1994. He became director of operations of Sri Lanka cricket in 2001. He was 68 years of age at the time of his demise. The Teachers Principals Trade Union Association announced that they will report back to work on Monday the 25th. Convening a media briefing today, the president of the All Ceylon Joint Teachers Union, Venerable Yalwala Panya Lokathera, said that the Joint Teachers Union will stage a strike on the 21st and 22nd of this month. The media briefing convened by the Teachers Principals Trade Union Association was held in Colombo this morning.
Clearly, we made a decision of refraining from reporting to schools, which consist of less than 200 students, on the 21st of this month. However, we are requesting all teachers and principals to report to work on the 25th and educate our children. We will open schools. We will work. However, we will not stop there. Our first request is that the recommendation by the Ministerial Subcommittee should be paid at once. Also based on the Constitution established through an extensive discussion, implement the Subodhini report. While continuing to educate our children, we will stage our trade union action as well.
දීප්තිව්‍යාප්ත සේවාවන්ගේ මේ අවස්ථාවේ ජනප්‍රිය සුබෝධිනී වාර්තාව ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න. ඒ දක්වා ඉගෙනුම් ඉගැන්වීම් ක්‍රියාවලියේ යෙදෙමින් අඛණ්ඩ වෘත්තීය ක්‍රියාමාර්ගවල යෙදෙනවා කියන එක මේ රටේ පාලකයින්ට කියන්න.
The convener of the National Collective against the salary anomalies of teachers and principals said that their trade union will continue the strike actions against salary anomalies.
The teachers and principals cannot be stopped the way they did with other groups. As a result, we as the National Collective of Teachers and Principals will continue the strike even after the 21st until the government provides us with a solution. We will not provide our consent to reopen schools.
The Education Ministry in the Southern Province has decided to appoint a senior teacher as the acting principal as a replacement on a temporary basis for principals failing to report to work on the 21st of this month. Now, this decision was published through a paper advertisement.
The paper advertisement further noted the governor of the Southern Province has ordered all principals, teachers, PT teachers and all other staff members to report to work on the 21st of this month. Accordingly, the Southern Provincial Ministry of Education has informed that the governor has ordered to appoint a senior teacher as the acting principal as a replacement for principals who fail to report to work.
The foreign minister has requested the teachers and principals to understand the difficulties the country is encountering at present.
There is an issue of salary anomalies of teachers and principals. We would like to give more. I am a teacher as well. However, everyone in the country is aware that we cannot go beyond this. This is the maximum that we can provide. We are further requesting teachers and principals to accept this solution without further hampering the education of children.
මේ දරුවන්ගේ අධ්‍යාපනය කඩා වැටීමට ඉඩ නොදී මේ විසඳුම පිළි අරගෙන.
In more news here at home, the Ministry of Agriculture says a final decision on importing nano nitrogen liquid fertilizer from India will be made today. A discussion on the matter commenced at the Presidential Secretariat at 9 a.m. today. Secretary to the Ministry of Agriculture, Professor Udit Jaisingh, has said, based on the decision at the meeting, 100,000 litres of nano-nitrogen liquid fertilizer can be imported to the country tomorrow by air. 2.2 million litres of nano-nitrogen liquid fertilizer is expected to be imported to the country at a cost of 9 billion rupees. The following are the views expressed by politicians regarding the fertilizer crisis in Sri Lanka.
දැන් අද වෙනකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? දැන් ජනාධිපතිතුමා
2 days ago, the President appointed a committee to present a report on transitioning into a green agricultural system. The heads of government research institutions are not on this committee. The committee does not have any experts in the field either. 75% of the members of the committee are businessmen. Although they tried to win over the people by using organic fertilizer as a front, now they have abandoned that concept and are rebranding this as green agriculture. In the end, they have simply destroyed the economy of the country. They have created the atmosphere for a famine. Even the ship carrying Chinese fertilizer said to contain harmful bacteria that was sent back is now on its way back to Sri Lanka. We have received word that this fertilizer will be forcibly used on Sri Lankan fields without approval from the standards institution in the country.
මේවා නැවත ගොවිතැනට බලහත්කාරයෙන් එකතු කරන්න කටයුතු කරනවා කියන කාරණේ.
අද ඇති වෙලා තියෙන්නේ රජය එක එක දවසට එක එක තීන්දුව ගන්න නිසා.
The government is making different types of decisions and changing them frequently. This has made the people lose their trust on the government. The trust of the people towards the government will further dip if they increase the prices in the guise of enabling access to essential goods. Thus, the truth should be told to the people. If you look at tea cultivation, only organic fertilizer can be imported to Sri Lanka based on the approved gazette. Despite that, the minister says they have made a decision to bring down nano-nitrogen. Is it an organic fertilizer? No, it is a fertilizer based on urea. So do these decisions make sense?
ඉතින් මොකද්ද මේ කරන තීන්දුව? කිඹුල කාපු මිනිහට කටු ඇනුනා වගේ වැඩි. දැනෙන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි කටු ඇනෙනකොට තවත්
පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ඉන්න 225 දෙනාගෙන් එකෙක්වත්
The 225 parliamentarians have been continuously pressurizing the general public. They do not care about the people of this country. They are acting out a drama now. I would like to kindly request them to provide the farming communities with the required fertilizer. They were appointed as members of the parliament to develop and aid the growth of the country. But we are in a situation where a child cannot even have access to a glass of milk. How can we feed them when the prices of essential goods, including milk powder and wheat flour, have been increased? Why have you brought us to such a state?
සහල් මිල මේ සියලු මාත්‍යවස බාන්න වැඩි කරලා ඇතිනේ. ඇයි අපේ මෙහෙම දෙයක් කරේ?
While the politicians express varying views about the fertilizer crisis, the farmers still remain helpless. Now, they organized several protests across the country today as well, demanding authorities to provide them with fertilizer. A protest was staged in Mahiyangania this morning.
The protest was organized by the State Farmers Organization to protect the rights of the farmers in Mahiyangania and the Farmers' Struggle Movement. The protest march began from the Sorabura River in Mahiyangania. The protesters marched towards the Mahiyangania town and continued their protest. The protesters urged the authorities to provide them with fertilizer without further delays.
Our cultivations were completely destroyed by wild elephants in the previous season. Now we are suffering because of a lack of fertilizer. Please do not make matters worse for us. We will have to come to the street at the end. We voted for this government. The Deputy Director General of Health Services is requesting the general public to act responsibly during the coming days.
පහුගිය සතියාන්තයත් ඉදිරි හෙට අනිද්දා නිවාඩු දිනත්
When taking into consideration the last weekend, the upcoming holidays and the next weekend, if people act in a manner in which where they create a space for the disease to spread, there's a possibility where there will be no options other than closing the country. There are news about how people from various places have behaved during the last weekend. As the Ministry of Health, we are worried. Through this example, if many people start to act in an irresponsible manner, the situation of the country turns worse.
බරපතල තත්ත්වයට හැරීමට ඉඩ තියෙනවා.
Moving on, Minister of Environment Mahinda Amravira says that a report will be presented to Cabinet to conserve the highly sensitive marine ecosystem that stretches from Mannar to Rameshwaram in India. Professor Sewandi Jaikuri presented an assessment report she compiled to protect highly sensitive ecosystems in Sri Lanka to Minister Mahinda Amravira last week. It has been mentioned in the report that bottom trawling method used by Indian fishermen have resulted in massive environmental destruction in the Sri Lankan seas. The report also added that 3,000 Indian fishing trawlers have entered the Sea of Sri Lanka 3 days every week. The report also mentions that the migration of protected marine species such as dolphins, blue whales and turtles take place from Mannar to Rameshwaram in India. The report has suggested that the Trincomalee Sea region, Gaul, Mathura and Hambantota must also be named as highly sensitive ecosystems. The ever-picturesque Sea of Sri Lanka, an eye-catching spectacle, is a blessing to my nation. Surrounding our mother with the protection of a father.
The Sea of Sri Lanka.
A heated situation arose during the meeting of the Bindra Pradeshia Sabha today. The incident transpired with the opposition of Chairman Sarath Anand to a proposal made by a group of government members to extend the service of 3 female employees of the Pradeshia Sabha. Data shows that Sri Lanka has printed 19 billion rupees outright after partially successful treasuries auctions over the week as a note issue bank took up the balance amid continuing external trouble and mounting reserve-related liabilities. The central bank's treasury bill stock went up to 1,469.84 billion rupees on the 14th of October from 1,450.21 billion rupees a day earlier as treasuries were brought outright to keep rates down. Meanwhile, window borrowings went up to 188 billion rupees from 147 billion rupees. Sri Lanka's net borrowings have been rising steadily from 2015 as monetary policy deteriorated. On to another headline-making story this afternoon. The software engineer attached to Epic Lanka Technologies, responsible for deleting files from the National Medicines Regulatory Authority server, was further remanded till the 25th of October this year.
The software engineer, identified as Pramoth Dulipa Ramanayaka, is charged with deliberately deleting many files from the database of the National Medicines Regulatory Authority. Forensic investigations have revealed that the deletion of the NMRA files relating to medicines and medicinal drugs was not a mistake and was a deliberate act. The Attorney General's Department notified the Colombo Additional Magistrate Court of this on the 29th of September. Earlier, Deputy Solicitor General Dileepa Piris told court that the suspect software engineer has deleted files from his residence for a period of 5 hours from 3:45 a.m. on the 9th of July to 10:24 a.m. on the same day.
Sri Lanka will begin the quest for their second World T20 title against Namibia in the first round Group A qualifier today. In two Group B encounters yesterday, Oman beat Papua New Guinea while Scotland beat Bangladesh, setting the stage for an exciting tournament.
ICC T20 World Cup 2021.
Sri Lanka failed to get direct qualification to the tournament owing to their lower rankings in T20 internationals. Former champions and three-time finalists will contend with Namibia, Ireland and Netherlands in the first round under Group A, with the top two teams in the group will qualify for the Super 12s. Sri Lanka is due to take on Ireland on the 20th and again Netherlands on the 22nd of this month. They engaged in practice sessions with the guidance from head coach Mickey Arthur and consultant coach Mahela Jawardena during the past few days.
World-famous singer Yohani met with President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and the First Lady yesterday following her successful visit to India. During her meeting with the President, Yohani did not forget to sing the song that made her a global singing sensation overnight. See you this afternoon with those visuals. Take care and good day.
Ha ha ha.